It's Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, and we have a lot to talk about today. We have an extremely active severe weather stretch ahead of us. So active, in fact, that Reed Timmer said the most active pattern for tornadoes since 2011 ahead. This has been a little bit of a controversial post. Now, I will say, taking a look at the 500 millibar jet stream, the 850, this is going to be definitely an extremely active stretch for severe weather, and specifically potentially for tornadoes as well. Obviously, Reed Timmer gets very hyped over this stuff. He loves chasing tornadoes. This is like his bread and butter. Some people don't love that he compared it to 2011. Some people are saying, well, he has a point here. This is a crazy looking pattern. I mean, we could see a tornado touchdown 7, 8, 9 days in a row with this type of pattern. But anyways, it's interesting. We need to talk about it. This is going to be an interesting video. I want to start off by quickly going over the temperatures moving forward, kind of just our 7 to 10 day forecast, temperature-wise, precipitation-wise, and then we're going to dive into this severe weather threat we have ahead. We were talking about this on stream last night. Obviously, I mean, if you don't know what happened in 2011, but we had multiple tornado outbreaks, not severe weather outbreaks where you get a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings, a couple tornado warnings, but tornado outbreaks where we had tornado warnings, hundreds of tornado warnings with these outbreaks. We had the Joplin tornado in 2011, which was a catastrophic EF5 tornado that hit Joplin, Missouri. So obviously this makes some people a little bit nervous, but we're going to dive into this. This is the SPC, by the way. So we're already looking at a day 5, day 6, and day 7 slight risk. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a day 8. That would be next Tuesday. Like I said, it's going to be active. Let's quickly start by taking a look at the live radar. So here we go. Got some snow, believe it or not, moving across portions of Iowa, northern Missouri, west central Illinois. This is more of a mix here. We did get some snowfall. I'm actually interested to see how much accumulation, if anyone's watching this video out here in eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, or even if it's snowing there right now, let me know if you have any accumulation. I know the Omaha metro was being projected, I believe, by the National Weather Service to receive somewhere between 2 to 4 inches. So I'm interested to see how much you guys received. Florida's still getting hammered with all this rainfall, which is good news because you guys are in a terrible drought. So Florida needs this rainfall bad. So that's all right. Then we got a little bit of a snow system moving through portions of New England. You can see here upstate New York, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont. This could be some good snow for the high elevations up here. Not a ton of snow for the low elevations, but that's going to continue to move on east, and that's going to get out of your guys' hair, I believe, as we move into tomorrow. Now, let's quickly take a look at the temperature outlooks, if I can find it. Here we go. Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook. This is a 6 to 10 day forecast. In the short term, over the next 4 to 5 days, it's actually a little bit cooler out east, but warm temperatures are headed back. This is also kind of related to the severe potential outbreak setup we're going to have going into this weekend and early next week. With severe weather, there's usually some very warm air accompanied, especially out ahead of it. 6 to 10 day forecasts are pretty hot across much of the country, especially out east. 8 to 14 days as well. Now let's take a look at the Weather Prediction Center multi-day precipitation forecast. Not much precipitation forecast over the next 48 hours, except for down there in Florida, really. Like I said, these greens are kind of just a tenth of an inch. 72 hours, you're going to start to see this area in the center of the country fill out as this severe weather pattern sets up. We get into the 5-day forecast. There we go. A lot more moisture, a lot more precipitation through the plains and up there through portions of the Midwest and upper Midwest. And there you go. This is the 7-day forecast here. So why are we seeing a, whatever you want to call this, a drought hole? Why are we seeing no rainfall out here? Well, we have a high pressure that is spinning out here. That's actually going to potentially be amplifying our severe weather. High pressures in the northern hemisphere spin clockwise. So this is going to be spinning clockwise. We're going to have low pressure systems, kind of troughs ejecting through the center of the country, spinning counterclockwise, and then you kind of just have these, that's why you call them trough ejections. You have this instability, this moisture, these storm systems ejecting across the country, causing all sorts of shear issues. This is why you can get tornado outbreaks if you have a good enough setup like this, especially in April and May, when you have all these clashing air boundaries, cold, dry air to the north, warm, moist air to the south. This is a setup right here. Even just taking a look at the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center Precipitation Forecast, just taking a look at this, if I didn't know that we had a severe setup ahead, I would look at this and say, there might be some severe weather potential with this look, because you can tell we have the high pressure here, and there's definitely storm systems moving through the center of the country with this much rainfall. All right, let's now transition into our severe weather. Day 1, day 2, day 1's today, day 2's tomorrow. Not much. A little bit of a marginal risk in Kansas. Let's take a look at this. Any sort of tornado threat? No. Wind, just a little bit of a hail threat. Could be upgraded tomorrow, but right now, just a little bit of a hail threat. Includes portions of Salina, Abilene, all the way down towards Dodge City, Mean, Kingman, Hayes, Russell. So central Kansas. Now, let's push out a little bit further. Let's get into our day 3. Very interesting marginal risk stretching up through the panhandle of Texas, western Oklahoma panhandle, and then through portions of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. Just a marginal right now. If we take a look at the probabilistic on here, just a 5%. Again, day 3, we could see an uptick with this severe threat as we get closer and we understand the severe parameters a little bit better. So again, this is going to be our day 3. So this would be for Thursday. Getting into Friday, we don't have anything for our day 4 risk. Saturday, here we go. We have a day 5 slight risk. Now, you could look at this and say, okay, well, this is only a 15%. I call it a slight. It's 15% risk for severe weather, but it's rare to get these risk zones past, I would say, even day 3. Not super rare, but especially once you get out towards day 5, day 6, day 7, it gets a lot more rare. The Storm Prediction Center has to see something pretty significant. They have to see a pretty concerning pattern to start putting day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8 risk zones out here. And they do see a concerning pattern. So we already have a risk zone 5 days out in this region. We push out to day 6, another one. We push out to day 7, another one. So, and like I said, I think we're going to get a day. Well, I don't know if we're going to get the day 8 today, but the day 8, the Tuesday, there's going to be a severe threat as well. So a very, very concerning stretch for severe weather. And these risk zones are likely going to be expanded. I also think we could get, and I'll have to get into the details. I'll probably do it to get into the details a little bit more on stream, but we might even see some severe weather up in this region, maybe southern Minneapolis, southern Minnesota, Iowa, central to southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois. There's a pattern where you could actually see a day where we have severe weather up here and down in the southern plains at the same time. We could see some more severe weather out here through Ohio, Indiana, PA. So it's not just these areas. I know this is just where the risk zones are right now, but really everyone out here should be paying attention. I'm including the Ohio Valley, the upper Midwest, the Midwest. I think the biggest threat is obviously going to be in the plains, kind of where these risk zones are out here, especially the southern plains. This is definitely going to be the big target, but everyone out here should be watching for the severe weather threat as we get into the weekend and next week, except for the southeast. Like I said, we're going to have a high pressure system after all this rainfall moves out of Florida. We're going to have a high pressure system kind of sitting here spinning. So Alabama, Georgia, likely central to eastern Tennessee, the Carolinas, Virginia, like these areas out here probably aren't going to have too big of a severe threat, if any, over the next 7 to 10 days. It's always possible our high shifts a little bit off to the east and allows for a little bit of a window for some severe weather to push through portions of the southeast. So pay attention, but really this looks to be, like I said, up into the northwest. So Ohio Valley, Midwest, the plains, believe me, there's a setup here. Taking a look, and I showed this in the beginning of the video. This is our 8-day, this is our 1 to 8 day Storm Prediction Center outlook for severe weather. Right now, like I said, day 5, day 6, day 7, we may get the day 8 today. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a day 8 slight today, so we'll watch out for that. Let's take a look at this. So what's happening? Well, let's take a look at the bigger pattern here, and I might actually even want to stretch out. Let's push back a little bit. We'll go continental. Here's what's happening. We have some pretty warm waters, some pretty warm anomalies, positive MPO out there in the Pacific, and this is just going to be feeding a lot of energy into this cutoff low that wants to eject through the country. As we get into April, May are typically bring us our worst severe weather outbreaks. Again, it's the transition in between seasons. What causes severe weather? The clashing of opposite air boundaries. You have your winter air still not wanting to go away from the north, but you have your summer air moving up from the equator, that Gulf warming up, and they just clash in the center of the country. So April, May, especially in the U.S., we have the perfect geographical setup for severe weather, better than any other country in the world. April, May, we get our worst severe weather outbreaks typically. Here's our jet stream. Like I said, you can kind of see the angle it's taking. When you get that southwesterly flow of your jet stream, this is what gives us issues because you get a low pressure that forms closer to the surface, 850 millibar level low. That's going to be causing a southerly flow, meaning winds from the south that pulls moisture, all of that instability, all of that heat off the Gulf. And now you have southwesterly winds flowing into southerly winds that causes rotation with the instability that you now have. So that's how you get strong mesocyclones, strong supercells. This is just a classic April setup. It doesn't get much more classic than this. So let's zoom in a little bit here. Here we go. Now it starts to look concerning, I would say definitely as we get into Friday. So here's as we kind of get into Friday afternoon, Friday evening, you start to see some of this divergence out ahead here. Divergence is just when the air in the upper atmosphere begins to move away from itself. So convergence would be air particles moving towards each other. Divergence is away from each other. And then that allows for lift. That allows for air particles at the surface to rise and take the place of that air. And with it, It can bring moisture. It can build these thunderstorms. So you start to see this divergence out ahead of this trough that's this kind of cutoff low that's ejecting into the southwest here, that's moving into the southwest, that's eventually going to eject across the country. And this is when issues start to form. This is when you're going to start to see a lot of rainfall out here, and I'll show you this in a second. But at first, it's really just going to be rain showers, nothing severe. But as this low begins to make its way into the southwest, we're going to have some issues. So I would say Saturday is the first day for me that looks, I would say, the most concerning. Friday, we could definitely see something significant. If we do take a look on Friday at our 850 millibar layer, let me go to forecast here and we go take a look at Friday. So here's Friday. You do have some decent shear moving across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri. Really, I'm watching the southerly flow and this kind of wind convergence down here in Texas and Oklahoma on Friday. So we could actually see some decent severe weather on Friday as well here. So this is something to watch. Here's your high pressure helping to funnel in that moisture. Here's your larger low pressure system off the coast still. Hasn't really moved into the southwest Friday, but we do have some activity here on Friday. So let's get back to our 500 millibar level, and we're going to move into Saturday. Let's get into kind of Saturday night. You start to get this upper level pattern developing here, and this is when you get strong upper level winds. We still have that strong shear down at the surface. So this is getting into, again, Saturday night. Now you have strong upper level shear, strong lower to mid level shear. And if we take a look at our dew points, instability around this time, here you go. We've got our dew points pushing into the mid 60s. Our temperatures are going to be plenty warm enough. Let's go into Saturday night into Sunday morning. Temperatures, not too bad, actually, taking a look at this. I mean, in the mid 60s to upper 60s. So still not as bad as it could be. But Friday and Saturday, there is a severe weather threat. There is a severe weather threat in this area. If we go back and we take a look here, so this is going to be this is today, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can see they actually don't have much, they don't have a severe threat at all for Friday, but they do have that Saturday severe threat, and then things really begin to amplify on Sunday and Monday. Let's push a little bit further. Now this is getting into Sunday. This is when the SPC thinks we could see some really significant development with this severe setup. So getting into Sunday night, some pretty strong, and you can see the divergence with these kind of shear streaks in here at the 850 millibar level. You can see our upper level pattern is really developing now. Look at this trough, this strong southwesterly flow with our 500 millibar trough. And that blocking, that high pressure blocking down to the southwest is really starting to develop. And these two systems are going to work together to shoot the system out through the center of the country and across the Midwest and give us all of our issues. So Sunday, yeah, that's a concerning look right there. We push into Monday, another concerning look. Now this low pressure system is really beginning to dig, and it's digging over the Rockies. It's going to be tapping into that cold, dry air that's sitting up in the Rockies and pulling it down into that surface, warm, moist air down in Texas, Oklahoma, that severe air people in Oklahoma and Texas say you can smell. Well, in the plains say you can smell. When they say it smells like a tornado outside, all that dry, cold air from the Rockies is going to be pushed down in here, especially with this good of a setup. This is a very, very, very strong setup Monday night. Very dangerous setup Monday night. Now, luckily, it's still 170 plus hours out, so there's time for this to change, downtrend, and whatnot, but a very strong setup. You take a look at what's happening a little bit lower to the surface with our 850 millibar shear. You have that strong shear still down in the lower levels. Very strong upper level pattern, very strong lower level pattern. Your dew points are beginning to really spike up here as we get into Monday. Let's take a look at this. Now we're talking about dew points approaching 70, if not above 70 degrees. So very, very, a lot of lift. What does moisture do? Why do we look at dew points? It creates a lot of buoyancy, so it allows for air parcels to rise and expand much quicker. This is what causes supercells. This is what ignites our severe weather. By the way, look at this sharp dew point gradient here. This is what we call a classic Tornado Alley dry line. Very, very dry air. Look at this. You have dew points 32 degrees. You go 20 miles to your east, and now suddenly your dew points are almost 70 degrees. That dry air is going to be rapidly sinking. That moist air is going to be rapidly rising as they run into each other. They don't go through each other. They have to go around each other. The moist air is going to rise, dry air is going to sink. Again, very, very powerful lift mechanism here. This is a very, I don't like using these words typically, but it's a dangerous setup. This would be Monday, as we get into Monday, late afternoon to Monday evening. This is a very dangerous dry line setup here, especially considering the shear that we have. The southerly flow, we have the 850 millibar level, and the southwesterly flow, we have the 500 millibar level. And then you take a look at our temperatures here. Our temperatures are going to be much warmer. Again, the more heat you have, the more energy you have. Now we're talking about temperatures getting up to potentially 90 degrees across the Red River Valley into Oklahoma. It's a very severe setup. And then lastly, I brought up Tuesday. This will be getting into Tuesday night. You've still got that strong low level pattern, the strong upper level pattern. Your dew points are really, look at this. This is a very sharp dew point gradient. And if we look at the temperatures too, I wonder if we're looking at about the same thing. This is the 180 hour. So let's go to 180. Temperature gradient isn't as sharp. Sometimes this could be a worse thing though, because if you do get supercells, they have a lot more area to latch onto. I would say, I was looking at this morning before I made this video, and I was going over this setup on stream last night. Sorry, I'm thinking as I'm literally recording this video, but this has definitely been an uptrend in the severity of this risk, especially the Sunday to Tuesday risk. This has definitely been an uptrend, and I think we'll be able to see that let me just go into model trend. I want to take a look at this here, okay? So this right here, we're talking about, this is actually Tuesday afternoon. So let's take a look at Tuesday afternoon, and let's go to the model trend here. And you can see, we push back. This is, I don't know how many runs ago, probably 5-6 runs ago. There wasn't really there's a severe weather setup here, but the 500 millibar level, you kind of have more of a westerly flow here. Your high pressure pretty far down to the south. Look at this development here. Really just from that run to this run. That is a huge change. And then we move forward, and now we have this strong low digging across, like I said, digging across the Rockies. So this has been trending up. This has been not trending in the direction you want if you don't like severe weather. It's definitely been trending in the direction you want if you're a tornado chaser, because, we're starting to see a more defined jet streak across the plains. We're starting to see a more defined kind of tilt of the 500 millibar level. So let's actually do the same thing, model trend here. I'm going to go and take a look at the model trend. We'll take a look Monday. We'll take a look Sunday, actually. Let's look at Sunday night into Monday morning at the 850 millibar level. And look at that. We start here. Look at that intensify. Now the low looks like it's trending a little bit to the north. That might be good for the southern plains, but you kind of see an intensification of your 500 and 850 millibar levels. So is this going to be the most active pattern for tornadoes since 2011? I don't know. Also, you know what? Reed Timmer knows this stuff. So, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously a little bit of a controversial post, but there's some there. That's why I wanted to especially kind of go over the parameters like I just was, what's happening with our jet stream and the dew points and temperatures and in the timing, because there's definitely a very, very concerning look and a very, like I said, classic severe outbreak setup. Reed's been doing this a lot longer than me, so he could also see things that I don't see, but there's some there. We need to pay attention to this. I would not be surprised if we saw at a minimum of 4 to 5 days of multiple EF2 plus potential tornadoes. So where are they going to be? How many? We need to get a little bit closer. We're still, our first slide is still that day 5. The setup's definitely there though. So I wanted to go over that with you guys. And yeah, if you're just finding my channel now, I took a little bit of a break. Actually had a surgery and I was feeling sick. I was out for a week, but trying to get back into the swing of things, trying to post at least 4 or 5 times a week, and definitely get on and stream when we do have these outbreak days. So yeah, if you want to give me a follow, give me a subscribe. Appreciate you watching this video. I will be live streaming later, probably around 9 p.m. I think that's when I'm going to hop on to live stream, and we're going to go over the details of this. You guys can ask me questions. I also have a Discord with almost 700 weather enthusiasts in it. The link is to my Discord is right down in the description below. It is completely free. I update it every single day with all the latest severe weather updates, winter weather, climatology, tropical updates. Everything's in there. There's volcano updates, earthquake updates. It's a really great weather source. You can get your tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings in there. It's connected. We have a bot connected directly to the National Weather Service. It's a really awesome tool. So again, if you want to just click the link in the description, you'll get into the Discord for free. Like I always say, the Discord costs me money. It costs you nothing. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this, and I'll see you in the next video, or I'll see you in the live stream tonight.